Hey everybody in the jazz band. Here's a video that, move the phone here. Here's a video that may help you as you navigate the chord changes to Flintstones. As I've mentioned in jazz band, Meet the Flintstones is a contrafact. It's based loosely on the chord changes to I Got Rhythm. This particular arrangement is kind of cool because oftentimes a musician can become intimidated if the tempo is really burning very, very fast, and this one is pretty doggone fast. But what the arranger has done is, instead of using verbatim the chord changes to I Got Rhythm, which jazzers sort of informally refer to as 1-6-2-5, boom boom be doo dee doo dee doo, he does something different. If you take a look at those chord changes, he takes the 1 chord, ascends to the 2 chord, ascends to the 3 chord, ascends to the 4 chord, and then back to the 1 chord. Completely diatonic. As a matter of fact, the entire A section is all diatonic, except the second ending where it goes to a dominant chord. Pretty amazing. So on the outside, you could actually survive all of the A sections, and there's 3 of them in this AABA form on the major scale. Totally survive, no doubt about it. So you don't have to think too much about modes. It's just a really, I think, a very clever way of getting through this, and also a really easy way to improvise without being intimidated by too many chord changes. So let's talk a little bit about this. As you see it, it's AABA form. The way I've just jotted it out here, it's a first ending for the first A, a second ending for the second A, there's a bridge, and then you go back to the beginning for that last A, take the second ending. So again, if you look at that, I've sketched out the chords in their bass form and colored in the guide tones, the 3rd and the 7th. So the first thing that I would do is to practice this with those given chords. Notice in bar 5, it's the same chord as the first measure, but it's in an inversion. It's in second inversion. And the reason I'm suggesting that is so that you can maintain and preserve a smooth guide tone line. Notice that the dots that are colored in are really moving in a seamless, very stepwise fashion throughout the entire piece. So practicing those chords, I think, is very important. As a matter of fact, you might want to practice each of the chords in each of the inversions. Root position, first inversion, second inversion, third inversion, and descending. And as I've said many times before, make sure you're practicing them the entire range of your particular instrument. Etc., etc., etc. All the way up, all the way down, for all of the chords. So let's talk about the guide tones. Why color those in? I think as the chords pass either stepwise or cycle 5, there's a great deal of stepwise or common tones that happen. And especially with a tune that is burning like this at a fast tempo, the guide tone line is a great one to capitalize on. Here's a brief, I'm looking at the very top guide tone line. That I might use that with some interpretation and a bit looser than that to find a creative line. There's the middle line. Etc. And then we're at the bridge already. So practicing the guide tone and maybe ornamenting it with other parts of that major scale will really help. The bridge is a chain of dominants. They call this a chain of extended dominants, as they say. It winds up, the last one is the primary dominant of the key. So that's Mixolydian. But all of them really could be Mixolydian. No problem at all. And remembering Mixolydian is simply the major scale with a flatted seventh. So although there are many ways to go about attacking the bridge here, you may want to first start by getting to know the Mixolydian mode for each of those 4 vignettes. Those are all a fifth away from each other. So practicing, this is the first bar of the bridge is A concert, Mixolydian. And then the third bar, D Mixolydian. Again, over the entire range of the instrument. Maybe in thirds. Here's the third bar, G concert Mixolydian. Maybe in triads. Etc. But getting to know those Mixolydian modes. The other thing that can hold that bridge together, just like the A section, is if you capitalize on those guide tones, there's a great degree of, well, it's chromatic. They're all chromatic, right? Because it's a dominant chord going to another down a fifth, to another down a fifth, to another down a fifth. And those guide tones are moving very chromatically. There's the first guide tone. There's the next guide tones. There's the next guide tones. There's the next guide tones. So even on their own, they stand 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You could use them in conjunction with each other. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could use them as guides or as beginning tones or ending tones, but then ornamenting them with the arpeggio. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you could use them and also fluff them up a little bit or ornament them with chord scales. The Mixolydian mode, as it were. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Anyhow, I'm sort of cramming it all into one video here, but practicing it slow is probably the best way to do it, and I should have probably demonstrated that. I'll give one last demo here of an under tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I hope that helps. You may also want to either grab an Aeversol play-along or go to Spotify or somewhere out there on the net and see if you can find a play-along for Flintstones or for rhythm changes. They may be slightly different, but it would at least give you that bedrock and support that you need.